करुणावतारम् संसारसारम् भुजगेन्द्रहारम् कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि।
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि।
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि।
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयवृन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि।
Every night is like a daze, but oh, I feel embraced as I know I'm running late. Let's wait just one more day. I know I'm running away from moments. What am I becoming? I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken. from moments. What am I becoming? I guess something's broken. Yeah, I'm feeling stuck, maybe out of luck. I'm falling in and out of time. I hope that you come home, please pick up the phone. I need to know if you are fine. I know I'm running away from moments. What am I becoming? I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken. Oh, every night is like a day, but oh, I feel embraced. Yes, I know I'm running late. Let's wait just one more day. I know I'm running away from moments. What am I becoming? I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken. I guess something's broken.
Good evening everyone and welcome to the opening round for Season 2 of the AOR Hype Energy Oceania F1 Championship on Xbox One, powered by Elgato here at Albert Park in Melbourne, Australia. It's the 20th time in 22 years that Albert Park has hosted the opening round of the Formula 1 World Championship, and hopefully we have an exciting race in prospect. Last season we had a thrilling season with New Zealand Ryan and Team at Marduk taking it most of the way before luck struck with Team at Marduk. But after a couple of weeks off, it's time to go racing again. And joining me in the commentary box once again is Matt212. And Matt, what can we expect this season? Hopefully more excitement, more close races.
Yeah, certainly hoping that we can see a whole lot more of that this season. Ryan, yeah, as we said, really sort of, don't get me wrong, he was incredibly quick, and I think we can both agree he certainly deserved to win the championship. But obviously we sort of wanted to see, it was a very short season, we wanted to see it come right down to the wire, but he was just so consistent throughout, and he was able to wrap it up with what, 2 rounds to go, if I'm not mistaken, which was obviously really good by him. But yeah, this season, 15 rounds, obviously a little bit longer. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We've easily got, well, based on last season alone, Ryan, Ben, Warden, all are certainly going to be fighting right at the business end of this table. But yeah, I think we'll see some surprises as well by a few more drivers, and obviously hopefully titanic battle throughout the season.
Yes, it'll be good to see, and in a minute we'll go through the driver lineup changes for this season, and we'll start with the champion himself, New Zealand Ryan, going to Mercedes for this season, alongside, however, Team at Marduk. So the top 2 drivers from last season teaming up in the top team in Formula 1 for this season. That should be a very exciting battle to watch with them now as teammates. Strategy will be vital, track position will be vital for them in this season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's almost a bit of an odd one. Obviously, they've gone together. Don't get me wrong. I think we had Ryan and Warden last season, which was obviously a lethal lineup as well. But yeah, it's almost. I don't know if I was in that position whether I want to go with probably my biggest rival, because yeah, as we said, strategy. Obviously, you don't really want to double stack in the pits and things, and that could obviously play crucial, because generally you'd expect these two to be very close to each other on the track at most times. But they'll certainly be. Well, as we'd seen from Mercedes last year, I would be very surprised if they weren't in a very, very good chance to take the Constructors' title this year. At least then, you know, we could see some potential battles from a couple of other teams. You know, I was trying to look through different drivers and different cars. Obviously, we'll go through a full rundown of the field as well. But yeah, Warden and Master Berserk, I feel, could be quite a strong rivalry to them as well. Obviously, if they can really get some good, consistent points in that Ferrari car. But it's certainly going to be interesting. Ferrari versus Mercedes in both real life and in AOR. That could be quite interesting throughout this season.
Yep, and of course at Ferrari this season we have Warden 99, who fought until the final round for second in the championship. Obviously his disconnection in Abu Dhabi on the start line cost him second in the championship. He teams up with Master Berserk this season in what is likely to provide us the closest challenge for the Mercedes drivers this season. Fingers crossed we can see Warden take the fight to the two silver arrows, and I'm sure Master Berserk, he has his tracks where he's got the pace, but sometimes he lacks the race consistency of Warden.
Yeah, it's always been, you know, a bit of an interesting one. Warden last year, I think, was quite obviously interesting to compare him up to Ryan, because Ryan generally, obviously as he won the title, he was consistently scoring more points, but Warden, when he really got in the zone, he was a very, very good rival for him there. But I'm going to look through the times at the moment. Jetson F1 has done a fantastic lap there, 1.4 seconds clear of anyone else in the Toro Rosso car there, so that's certainly been, you know, a good way. The first 5 minutes of this season are already looking strong for him. What, 7 tenths clear now, as Poms for the win slots into P2 in a, well, as you can see, a very, very soggy Australia. We don't obviously know just yet what the race is going to be like, as Ryan now, when he shuts down the dreams of Jetson F1 there and goes another 10.5 clear, so certainly no pace has been lost by him over. Can we call it the winter break? What can we really say?
I don't know. Here would be the
Easter,
the
probably,
autumn break, the Easter break. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to call it. But yeah, Ryan fast at the moment, so good start from the reigning champion. Obviously, being an Oceania League, a lot of drivers will be celebrating their home race for the opening round. And one of those drivers is not Ryan, who is from New Zealand. And I think he's the only one in this lobby. And Neon, him and Neon Treatham are the only two drivers not celebrating their home races this weekend.
Yeah, always obviously coming from a British point of view, obviously quite weird that the first race of the season is obviously home race for obviously pretty well, as you said. Yeah, almost all these drivers. Only one of them will obviously be able to take home his home race victory today. Although we could theoretically, obviously, if Neon Treatham. Actually, I don't think Singapore. I don't think Singapore is in this season either. So potentially this could be the only chance for anyone to take a home race victory in this season, as Jared now goes a half a second clear. But Jetson F1 is looking very strong in these rainy conditions. He's set two consistent around the 35.5s at the moment, just over halfway through this session. So he is really looking strong in these semi-wet conditions, and that's something good to see, really. You know, more drivers, a bit of changeable conditions, as Ryan now once again goes a bit quicker.
Yep, indeed. And obviously we have at Toro Rosso this season Jared and Jetson who will be representing that team. So by the looks of it so far, Toro Rosso might be up there for a battle if they can, you know, find a few more tenths compared to last season. You could see Jared and Jetson, you know, races here and there, putting pressure on what we expect to be a Mercedes and Ferrari fight. So fingers crossed they can play a big role in this season.
We've already got a few people in the chat talking about Ben. He's only down in P5 at the moment, just over 1 second off VLC Jared at the moment, but I think he's on another flying lap at this stage of the session as he comes, well, down in towards the final few corners here. And yeah, he'll certainly be one that really wants to try and take on Ryan this championship. I think, has Ben bailed out of that? I'm not too sure. He's
Yeah,
very,
he has.
very tiptoe, tiptoe through the final
He
couple
hasn't
of
gone
corners.
down his
So
laps.
fair enough. So he's setting himself up for another run then, I would presume. So, should we stay on board with him about this lap?
Yeah.
See what a lap around Australia is.
We're going on board with team at Mark into turn 1. Tricky conditions here. Oh, it's sliding the car through turn 2. Very, very tail happy there. So not a lot of grip in his Mercedes at the moment. And has he backed out of it again? He's in low
I
fuel
don't
mixture.
think so.
No,
he might
he
just be doing that to manage the wheel spin.
Yeah.
Because that is sort of, well, I think a lot of people have obviously discovered that in the current ongoing F1 esports event as well. The lower fuel mixtures, albeit not so useful in the dry, can really, really help actually gain a lot of time in the wet, but obviously just the way the power is delivered to the rear wheels. So yeah, that's certainly, you'll probably be wanting to flick through the fuel, you know, as you go around a lap of this circuit, but you still got 3 laps in the tank, and obviously down the straights you still want to be running max once you get to sort of 4th, 5th gear. But Ben's doing well. That's cheeky. He's taken that curb in, well, in all of it, as much as he possibly could there. He's maximised that one, certainly to say the least. There's always been a little bit of a thing around Ben and his interesting track limits at times, but, you know, I'm sure, obviously with AOR back, he's really, really sort of cleaned up a lot more as well, and down in towards the final couple of corners, it's been a bit of a, he didn't really want to be using Rich through the final corner there. That's been a big mistake out towards the line there. I'm not too sure, obviously, if he was up on that lap or not. I think he was, yeah, by 0.3 of a second, I could just see on his wheel, and like, he does still improve though after that bit of a mistake, so he's looking good at the moment. I think, well, for Ben at the moment, I think we're just going to see him out, do a couple more laps to finish off this session at the moment.
Yes, we have 2.5 minutes remaining in the session, as you said. And it's interesting to see, Matt, that the top 4 have either just come out of the pits if you're Jetson, or are in the pits. So we'll see if they go out for another run. And
yeah, Ryan,
of course, that'll
just on his way out.
Yeah, and that'll mean only 1 time lap, but on a fresh set of intermediate tyres on low fuel. So we'll see. He could provide him a bit more lap time than what Tim Mark, for example, has on his older intermediate tyres. But we'll go on board with the Mercedes driver and see what he's like on this lap. He's 2/10 up once again. He runs a little bit wide through 11. So it's not been the best of sessions so far for Ben. He's struggling a bit for pace compared to Toro Rosso's and his teammate.
Yeah, I'm just having a look. I don't think, actually, I'm not too sure. I think DLC Jared, I think, has come out way too late to go into one final run there. But Warden now does go fast. Obviously, he's got time for another run there. So we spoke about, obviously, he was really going to be one to match challenge to the Mercedes, and it looks, well, in this qualifying session with just over 1 minute to go, like he's going to be able to do that. But yeah, I was on board with Jared, and it looked like he was coming out of the pits way too late here, so he's going to have to, I don't think really he's got enough time to get around. 1 minute, well, less than a minute, 50 seconds really, to do the, well, Sector 2 and Sector 3. He certainly surely doesn't have enough time to get out and get round to another run though. Ryan will have enough time though, I'd imagine. He might be one of the last people actually on a run. We'll try and find, oh, that's Brock does stuff. Making a mistake down in towards, well, just into Sector 2 actually there, as his AI reverses back over the track. Hopefully that doesn't cause anyone else any issues, as that is really not a good place there from his AI. That would really cost Ben a little bit of time there, as he's on his final run in this session. He did actually improve once more there.
Jetson made
he's made a mistake as well. Yeah, I think, well, he's a lot more out of the way than Brock's AI was there, but Ben's coming through the middle sector at the moment. He was a tiny bit down in the first sector. I'm sure he lost a little bit more time as Brock does stuff there. He's got AI.
Oh, and Jared's missed the line. So Jared has missed the line.
Yeah, Jared, unfortunately, just, missed out. Well, actually, quite a bit there. He was a good sort of 10-15 seconds out there, so maybe he was accidentally basing it off dry pace there, but that was certainly a mistake he didn't want to make. He's already down to P2. Well, we've got Ben and Ryan both on laps at the moment. Warden, another 3.5 tenths up, as he comes across the line there to finish off that session of 1 minute 34.6. That is a fantastic lap by him. But Tim McMardock out of the final corner, down towards the line What is he going to be able to do? He's over, well, he was about 10th off his PB as he came out of Sector 2. He does improve, and he goes up 1 place there. Jumps Jetson F1 near enough, well, 8.5 tenths off Warden there, but we still got a few more people on their runs, and most notably New Zealand Ryan, obviously Season 1 champion, the reigning champion, as we come into Season 2 and as he moves on into the final sector.
Yep, and we'll see what his sector times are like. He's up by a mammoth margin. He's up by 7/10 of a second on his own time, so he'll be challenging Warden for pole position if he can keep this sort of pace up in the final sector. Just the 2 corners to go now for New Zealand Ryan. He'll be the last driver to cross the line. Will he start Season 2 on pole position? The reigning champion comes around the final corner now. Is it Mercedes on pole? It is!
Yes, it is. 1 minute 34.380 there, if I'm not mistaken. A fantastic lap by Ryan. That was incredibly well done at the end, with so much pressure on him for that session.
Yep, Ryan.
Fantastic job by him.
Yep, 0.2 of a second over Warden on pole. Jared in third. Good job from him. Obviously went out a bit late, so couldn't get that final run. And Ben in fourth. Just didn't seem to have the pace of his teammate throughout the whole session. Jetson fifth, Neon, Berserk, HO, Poms, Death. Rounding out your top 10. Then we got Brock, Drop Bear in his first race in 12th, and Funk Guru. Rounding out the 13 drivers we have.
Poms 1,000th of a second behind HO. That was pretty close.
So we don't know
it's
what
dry.
the conditions are for the race. So it is dry. So we've got a dry start.
Yep. It looks pretty clear around Melbourne.
Yeah. So with the dry start then, and with qualifying being in the wet, what tyres would you be starting on?
It's a one-stop Grand Prix around here. You can make it on the supers and then the mediums. If I'm not, actually no, yeah, I think it. No, sorry, medium. Sorry, super softs. I'm getting all muddled up with me tyres now. Super softs and then the softs, I think. But we could see, a few drivers try and go on the mediums to begin with, and then go supers for a bit of a quicker final stint. Actually, yeah, sorry, it is super soft mediums. I'm getting all my strategies mixed up now. There's too many to remember. But yeah, I think we'll see a lot of drivers either on the supers or the mediums. They'll either want to go really long at the start or really try and get through the traffic if they feel they're a bit lower than they should be.
We'll find out in a moment what tyres everyone's starting on as we get set for the formation lap. So we have Ryan, Ben on the soft compound tyre. Interesting. Jared on the Warden and Ryan on the soft tyre. Jared on the ultra soft. Team at Marduk on the super soft tyre. Jetson, HO on the ultra softs. Neon, Poms, Death, Brock all on the super softs. Master Berserk, Drop Bear, and Funk Guru on the soft tyre. So a big mixture with strategy there, Matt.
Yeah, not only did I muddle up all my tyre strategies, I also completely forgot which tyres you start this Grand Prix on as well. So it is an ultra soft race. Now that I can, get to see what tyres people are laid on again, I should have done a little bit more homework coming into this Grand Prix. But yeah, that is the ultra softs, and then the softs is, in my opinion, the quickest tyre around this circuit. So obviously the quickest strategy even around this circuit. But yeah, that'll probably be what a lot of drivers run. Interesting from Ben on those supers. I reckon obviously he'll, after one stop it still, I'd imagine, goes super softs, then softs, I guess, or maybe he might two-stop.
I'd be surprised if he two-stop started on the super softs. I suspect he will go onto the soft compound tyre later in the race, but we've got Ryan and Warden here. I don't know what they're doing.
They're getting up close and personal, I'd imagine. Hopefully we don't see him that close into T1 like that.
No, we don't want a repeat of what happened with Ralf Schumacher back in 2002. That would not be a nice way to start the season.
No, it certainly would not.
So, we're just about set for the opening round of Season 2. The final cars have geared up on the grid, and we await 5 red lights. and away we go. It's a great start from Ryan on pole position, and he's ahead of Warden to the first corner. Ben challenging Jared up the inside, he goes into third place. Seems all clean from behind, but it's a great start from Ryan. There's a big incident with Ben and Jared have all spun. Disaster for him and for Ben at the start with front wing damage for the Mercedes. Incredible start. There's chaos everywhere in the mid-pack. There's a McLaren, I think, that was off the road, but awful start in the end from Team Mark. The first corner was clean. It was just the second corner that wasn't clean.
That certainly was not an ideal start there. Ben and Jared, well, Jared's right back at the bottom of the field with front wing damage. Ben is pretty much at the back with front wing damage there. Warden and Ryan got away cleanly, and then behind them, well, we saw coming down into towards turn 3, it was just 2 by 2, and it certainly did not end up well for most people. So many cars with front wing damage off that start. If I try and have a look through, Ryan, Warden absolutely fine there, as well as Master Berserk. So Ferrari 2 and 3 at the moment. That has been a good start for them, obviously, in the constructors side of things there. HO has got a bit of front wing damage. I'm Death Row, I don't think does. Brock doesn't. Neon Tridom, I think, might have a tiny bit there. Poms does. Drop there, I don't think does. Ben does. Jetson does. DLC Jared does. And Funk Guru all have front wing damage there. And I think all of them pretty much are going to dive into, well, the bottom 4 are all going to dive into the pits. Yeah, Jetson just hit Ben as well as they come into the pit lane there, so that's certainly knocked a little bit more off his front wing there. But yeah, that was a chaotic start. Yeah, I think Ben and Jared still side by side, and I don't think Jared really, obviously that back, well, the second straight has a bit of a curve in it, and I don't think Jared really was willing to give Ben too much room there, and unfortunately, well, they both got caught out, and that really has, well, put both of their races, well, not all out the drain just yet. Obviously, with only 13 drivers in this split means there is still a big chance for points for all of these guys there, but that is certainly not what they would have wanted to start this Grand Prix. Well, Ben's just next in the pit lane, and well, Ryan's almost at the end of Sector 2 on near enough a lap ahead of him already at the start of this Grand Prix. So carnage for one of the, well, 2 almost of the big championship protagonists.
Yep, and you can see the margin that the top 2 have put on Master Berserk in the third. And I'm not sure who hit Ben at the second corner. I think it was Jared. I couldn't quite see who it was, but I think it was Jared that hit Ben, if I'm not mistaken, as we got some action in the midfield here. Death has had a moment and lost his front wing. So that's unfortunate for him. But as we start lap 3 of this race, Warden sets the fastest lap of the race. So Ryan is not able to pull away, and that's a big corner cut from Warden at turn 1. So DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap, on this lap, for the drivers to use on the pit straight. And it looks to me, Matt, that it's going to be these 2 fighting out for the victory.
Yeah, obviously you may have seen Ben drop way down to the bottom of the order, but that certainly does not mean we haven't got a fight on our hands in this Grand Prix. Ryan and Warden, Mercedes versus Ferrari, this could be a titanic battle in this Grand Prix. Both obviously started on the same tyres. I could pretty much almost guarantee they'll both use the same strategy, obviously, unless one of them ends up with front wing damage in this race. But yeah, this is looking already very, very good for these 2. Master Berserk still on the podium there. He's got HO on the much quicker compounded tyres there. Interestingly, HO has actually got a bit of front wing damage as well on that Red Bull, but he doesn't really feel it's worth it just yet pitting. He might just try and use his normal pit strategy, and whether he'll change the front wing or not, we'll have to wait and see. But that almost levels it out between HO and Master Berserk, as Brock does stuff.
Brock
Is now out of this Grand Prix. He's been it coming out of the fast chicane there, so unfortunate for Brock does stuff. He's managed to rip the rear wheel off there. That's a very... I'd love to see that crash on the replay there, but yeah, unfortunately for him, that is him at the Grand Prix there. A very odd crash, to say the least. I'd be intrigued to know how he's done that one.
Must have lost it on the curb at 12. It's the only way I can think he would have done that. It's a strange angle to have an accident like that if it's the right rear. Normally it's the left rear when you lose it at 12. But nevertheless, we'll move on to the fight for the lead. So Warden half a second behind Ryan. Obviously these 2 were teammates last season, have not opted for that strategy this season, which is a rarity, because in all the leagues that I saw last season, they were teammates. So it's unusual to see them not in the same car.
Yeah, maybe you know they know each other too well now, so perhaps they want to have a little bit of a different scenery. But yeah, I'm just trying to look through. HO is still all over the back of Master Berserk here, and obviously Drop Bear was all over the back of Poms. Poms obviously in the Force India has got a little bit of front wing damage there, but the Haas is on harder compound of tyres, so you know we could potentially see a bit of a battle between these. So Ben, obviously the first of the pit, is 31 seconds behind P7 in P8 of this Grand Prix. He's got Jetson a couple of seconds behind him, Death Row less than a second actually behind Jetson there. Funk Guru, obviously after pitting on the end of lap 2 after making a mistake by himself, is just a little bit back, and then well DLC Jared, I'm sure he's very, very frustrated there. Obviously we haven't seen the crash from either of those two's angles off the start there, but they will certainly both not be happy with that one, I'm sure. Well, obviously, as I said, we haven't been able to see it, so maybe one of them made hit blame after the race, but potentially we could see the stewards get involved with that one after the Grand Prix. But yeah, certainly that wasn't the ideal start for either. Funk Guru is now out of the Grand Prix, and he's done what Brock did. He's ripped the right rear. Yeah, that's how would they. I'm intrigued to know how people have been able to, you know, crash in the way they have done there, because they've either gone in backwards somehow there. But yeah, that means we're down to 11. So well, only one person is going to be scoring points in this Grand Prix, and we're only 5 laps in at the moment. At the rate this is going, we're going to end up with one car finishing if we lose 2 every 5, which I'm certainly would hope we wouldn't see by the end of this race. But Warden, already a 3-second time penalty there, and that is, well, could play crucial in this Grand Prix, because, well, Ryan, he's not one to pick up penalties. We both found out last season he's certainly, you know, he keeps it between the white lines very, very consistently there. You know, Mexico last season, I remember, everyone else had, you know, 2-3 penalties, and Ryan didn't even have a single warning. So for him now, obviously, if he knows Warden's got a pen, then he could really not sit back and relax, because you never really can in Formula 1, but he certainly does not need to worry about defending that lead as much as he might have had to just before that.
Exactly, and I'm sure Ryan will know that Warren had a penalty. They are in the same party, and they do communicate a lot with each other, so I'm sure Ryan would know that Warren has a penalty. But interestingly, like, I mean, what, 6 laps into the race, and I've seen Warden run wide a lot, so it's not too surprising that he's picked up a penalty in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look through. I'm going to, over these next few laps, going to try and monitor the gap between obviously Ben and the race leader. 43 seconds at the moment, obviously much more than a pit stop, but I'd be hard pushed. I'd be very impressed if he could even take a set of softs right through to the end of this Grand Prix as well there. So I think it might just be damage limitation in the opening round of the season, but I think we both know really that can play huge mentally, obviously, in a bit of a short season as well. Only 15 rounds in this championship. That could really obviously play critical towards the end of this season as well. But yeah, Ben certainly will not be happy with this one, but 23 laps to go of this Grand Prix. We're now 20% of the way in, and the order is staying fairly, it's starting to obviously even out a lot more between a lot of the drivers. I'm going to see who was almost sort of the big winners and the big losers there, and you can just see Master Berserk 4 places up off the start, HO up 4 as well, Neon Tridome up 1, Drop Bear up 6 from the start, Pomsel the Wind dives into the pit lane as well, he was up 2, and then Ben Jetson down 4. Death Row has actually stayed level in all of this, and then DLC Jared obviously has dropped 8 places since the start of this Grand Prix. And now I'm intrigued to know where Alex is going to come out relative to Ben in this Grand Prix. He's got a 5-second time penalty there, pit stop and go penalty even, sorry there, so I presume that must have been from the carnage on lap 1, but yeah, certainly not ideal for him. I'm sure he'll come out behind Ben now, as yeah, you can see Ben is coming down the pit straight there. He'll now move up into P7.
Sorry
What's going on?
We're going to battle for the lead here. Warden briefly took the lead from Ryan, but Ryan seems to have gone back at him.
That's all right then.
I think Warden had a crack into turn 9, and obviously he didn't make the move stick. But he's applying a lot of pressure onto his former teammate. But in doing so, is he abusing the track limits of this Albert Park circuit?
I'll have a look on the race director to see what is going on. So Ryan once again does not have a single warning. Warden does only have that. Once he got that penalty, he's kept it clean since then, albeit we've only gone another 2 laps at this stage. But yeah, this is certainly, even with this penalty, this could be a titanic battle in the first round of the season. Obviously for Warden, we're still, we've still got a long way to go in this race, but that could be huge psychologically if he was able to take home the first race victory of the season. Ryan, obviously, as we said, in qualifying, he was so consistently dominant last season, and for Warden, obviously, even if you can just keep up with him through the entirety of this Grand Prix, I'm sure that would obviously be a huge motivational boost as well. But yeah, these two really looking strong at the moment, just pulling away from Master Berserk in the other Ferrari there, as he kicks a little bit too much grass, in my opinion, in towards Sector 2 there. That was a little bit of an odd line. It may have been a little bit of lag, but yeah, he's certainly doing well at the moment. Poms for the win, by the way, has come out in P10 there, so unfortunately he came out behind those 3 pitters, but is still 10 seconds clear of DRC Jarrett at this stage of the day.
Yeah. So on lap 8 of this race, we have all but 2 runners currently on the soft tyre. That is HO and Neon, who are on the ultra soft and super soft tyre. So it does look like the soft tyre is the preferred race tyre here at Albert Park, as Warden once again is very close to the back of Ryan, but I think it's a bit too far away compared to last lap.
We've got a few people in the chat saying that Warden is probably going to have to undercut Ryan here, but it's a bit of an interesting one whether he's going to be able to, because if the way, obviously, the quickest strategy around here, as I said, is the soft and then the ultra softs for these two guys, but both of those tyres get very... Oh, Death Row's out. What's happened to him? Oh, he's binned it in the far chicane as well there. 3 people gone in that chicane. I think, is that... I don't think that's both McLarens. Actually, yeah, I think... Is that... Was Brock in a McLaren as well? I can't recall.
No,
off the top of my head, but, well... Brock was in the Renault, sorry, yeah.
I think,
yeah.
Yeah.
There we are then. Everyone that finishes is scoring points today, obviously, as long as they finish lap 26 of this Grand Prix. Finish within 90%. So, yeah, that's certainly not the ideal way for those 3 to start this season. Well, I'm sure they'll want to come out next time fighting once again.
It's incredible, but unlike the first 2 who did it, Death actually did it how you would normally crash, and it's the right front wheel that's come off. So, unfortunate for him, but it's the battle up front we've got to focus on, because I don't think the gap's going over half a second all race between the top 2. And I don't know about you, Matt, but does Warden look the faster of the 2 drivers, or are they just that evenly matched that if Warden does get ahead, he won't pull away?
I think at the moment, I'll try and have a look on Ryan's Delta. He's got 2 laps of spare fuel at the moment. He's not running rich down the straights at the moment. I think genuinely at this moment he's just staying in control of this race. And yeah, he's only running standards out of the corners. He's saving a lot of fuel at the moment. I think he's just, he's got Warden right behind him. There's not really many places Warden can go for overtakes around this circuit. Obviously it's not really one as we saw just a few weeks back in the real life 2018 Australian Grand Prix. It's not one where overtakes are plenty, but yeah, I think Ryan at the moment is he's just in control. He's using Rich down this back straight. I think he might use Rich down the front straight, obviously if Warden is close enough there, but like, he's just staying in control at the moment. He's doing, that's not staying in control. As soon as I say that, Warden muscles his way up the inside there. So is Ryan gonna have a look down the inside? No, he does not. But yeah, as soon as I said about how Ryan's in control of this race, he goes and runs just a bit wide there. And well, that's going to be an open door for Warden. He now moves up into the lead of this Grand Prix, and we've got our first lead change of the day there. Fantastic job by Warden, just pounced on the mistake, and now we'll see if Warden can prove me wrong there. Whether Ryan was in control of this Grand Prix, or whether Warden now will be able to build up a little bit of a gap. As we said, he's got a 3-second time penalty in this Grand Prix, so he needs to keep it clean after that. Ryan takes a lot of curb through T1, but yeah, this is certainly could get very, very tasty over these next few laps here. We're just 1/3 of the way into this Grand Prix, and this battle is still very, very intense.
Commentator's curse put on you, Matt. You put on Ryan, Matt. So
I can only apologise to him.
He won't be happy with you. when he finds out what happened. But yeah, like I said, we'll find out now what Warden's pace is like. And pretty much answer my question if Warden is faster than Ryan. But I don't know, it looks to me that Warden does have a little bit of extra pace over Ryan. But it is early days still. And we still have 18 laps to find out. Look at the understeer Ryan's getting in the dirty air. Warden's 9 tenths of a second now. So Warden is definitely pulling away.
Yeah, Ryan really struggling through that fast chicane. I know obviously Ryan is on a pad, but is Warden on a wheel? I think, yeah, he
no,
must be. I
Warden's
think
on
like
the pad.
based on the Warden is also on a pad. That's quite surprising then. A lot of the top guys in Oceania then on the controllers. So yeah, I thought that was going to be sort of the reason why Warden fastest lap of the Grand Prix there. 1 minute 25.6, a very, very quick lap by him. But yeah, I thought that was going to be the reason why Warden has so much more confidence through there. But on a pad, that is pretty damn incredible by him. Obviously, hopefully I don't commentate a curse him by saying that. But yeah, that is very, very good by him so far in this Grand Prix. And these two are still by far the closest battle on track. Although Ryan is really, he's starting to drop back a bit now. And this is interesting to see. We've never really seen this from Ryan in Oceania.
Yeah, we're not used to seeing Ryan be this much slower than any other driver. So it is a bit unusual to see. I must say, apologies to the viewers if they're experiencing any issues with the stream, with the quality of it. We're trying to get a fix. But
Was the internet really? Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, the internet's not the greatest in Australia. It's never has been compared to the rest of the world. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we can find a fix for it and improve on the quality. But Warden has gone out of the 1 second window on Ryan, so
yeah, Ryan
cleared.
Ryan's just making mistakes here and there at the moment. And, well, it's not even like major mistakes. It's just locking up into the second last corner, running a little bit wide here and there. He just doesn't really seem to have the confidence behind Warden. And well, we've never really seen too much of Ryan, you know, behind other cars. Last season we had Kota, which I thought would be a bit of a test for him, but fortunately for him, he was obviously able to make it work in the end. If you do remember that Grand Prix, obviously Ben, towards the end of that race, obviously really struggled with his team. A mixed communication over whether the front wing would be changed or not is probably the fairest way to describe it. And obviously Warden and Ben got the elbows out to each other, and Ryan was just able to slip his way through on the pair of them in that Grand Prix. But obviously that was last season, this is now, and Ryan just seems to lack a little bit of confidence at the moment. Now stuck in Warden's dirty air.
Does it look like to use that Ryan's overdriving the car a little bit compared to Warden?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, really. I think you've hit the nail on the head there.
Oh, Warden!
A mistake through the chicane there. So I should just be quiet this race. I'm cursing everyone. Fortunately, I think he's going to be able to hold on to the race lead for now there. But Ryan, yeah, Warden obviously will have a bit of grass on his tyres. That'll reduce the confidence through these final couple of corners, and Ryan could really capitalise on this. Ben picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting there, so certainly not what he would have wanted in this race. But once again, the race for the battle for the lead is really starting to heat up. Warden goes defensive down towards turn 1 here. Ryan in the slipstream. I don't think he's going to go down the inside in towards T1 there. He's going to try and focus on a better run on the exit so much earlier. On the power, then Warden just in front of him. He's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS once more. Warden making it very clear he's defending the inside, comes back to the middle of the circuit there, squeezes out Ryan. He engine brakes a bit too much to the back, kicks out a little bit, so that was certainly not ideal for him, but he keeps it all together just about rocking all over the gearbox of the Ferrari car at this moment in time here. And this is fantastic battling between these two drivers here, just so, and the pace between them is just so close. Throughout the entirety of this lap here. Obviously both on the pad means that neither one of them really has an advantage just about anywhere around this circuit, obviously, but this is so incredible to see at the moment, and what a way to start the season right now.
Incredible, you know, 14 laps and these two drivers have barely been over a second apart. Unusual to see Warden make a mistake at 12. You know, he ran so far off the track. You know, we're speaking about Ryan overdriving, maybe Warden was just overdriving the car a little bit, making that mistake, trying to push a little bit too much than what the car allowed. But what do you think's going to happen with strategy, Matt? Do you think they're going to try and hang out for the ultra soft tyres, or do you think they're going to put the super soft tyres on? I'll get your thoughts on that in a minute as Ryan comes into turn 1 now, and he makes a little mistake and doesn't get quite as good of an exit as Warden does. So what do you think is going to happen with the tyre choices in their pit stop?
I think Warden will... Actually, I don't know. It's too difficult to judge. I think... Let's say Ryan's going to make the first... He's going to blink first and say, I reckon he'll have to go onto the Ultra Softs towards the end of this Grand Prix. If he doesn't, Warden will just stay out a couple of laps longer. As he picks up another 3-second time penalty there. Not ideal for Warden in this Grand Prix. That takes him up to 6. But yeah, I think Ryan is going to pit around lap 17, lap 18, I would have thought. He can take those Ultras maybe 11, 12 laps just about. Obviously, they haven't had to do qualifying runs on them, so he may obviously be able to take them out for 12 laps. I would have thought is probably pushing it to the limit. But yeah, if Ryan pit earlier, that safety pit now as Warden makes another little mistake there, I don't think is Ryan. I don't think he's going to be close enough once more there. So I can keep talking about the strategy. But yeah, I think Warden, if Ryan were to pit now and go onto the supers, Warden would just stay out for a few more laps, go onto the ultra softs, and obviously be quicker on the tyres, obviously towards the end of this Grand Prix. So Ryan, I don't think really, obviously, if he blinks first, I don't think he can afford to go on to the super softs here. But one thing I was having a look at, Master Berserk, he's silently sort of staying level at the moment. Obviously, with these two pushing each other to the absolute limit, if they get into a bit more battles, maybe Master Berserk could find himself, you know, with his Ferrari teammate here and potentially help him out.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Berserk does, and if, you know, Warden does ask him for a bit of help, or if Berserk offers a bit of help. At the moment, he's 5 seconds off Ryan, so at the moment he's not close enough for an undercut effect. So I would be surprised if Berserk played a role, as Ryan picks up a penalty.
We're
just about to mention. I was just about to mention Ryan's warnings. He was on 2 warnings when I last checked, which was about half a lap ago. And now he's picked up his 3rd. So he won't want to pick up another penalty in the remaining 14 laps of this race. Because if he does, then that means him and Warden will be on level pegging with penalties. So if he can keep the margin where it is at the moment, he'll come out on top with the victory. So the pit window will be opening in a couple of laps, as Matt said earlier. It'll be interesting to see which one of these two blink first.
Certainly will there. And yeah, as you were saying, Ryan, albeit certainly can't really afford to take it slow at this stage of the Grand Prix, because Warden could still potentially, obviously, if Ryan made a bit of a mistake, he could pull out that 3-second margin. Maybe even Warden feels that 1 or 2 of his warnings weren't justified. Maybe he could try and get a penalty removed, maybe. Obviously, you have to wait and see about that one. Australia is pretty good with track limits on the whole. There's nowhere where you sort of feel if you run wide you get penalised. Most of the corners you can't really obviously take too much out of the curbs either. It's pretty damn good for that, so I'd be surprised obviously if he was able to get that penalty. At the moment, he just needs to stay behind that Ferrari. He's being on Tridome, setting fast laps of the Grand Prix. Drop Bear dives into the pits. He'll come out behind Ben. I think he'll come out behind Jetson. I think he'll come out ahead of Pons for the win though. So he'll come out back in P8 of this Grand Prix. But yeah, this is getting interesting between Warden and Ryan still, as well. There's still 4 tenths separate them. 17 laps into this Grand Prix as Warden once again, though they both make a bit of a mistake. That was certainly scary for the pair of them there. Warden ran a bit too wide. Ryan, well, he dropped the back end ever so slightly there. Incredible skill. Obviously, as we said, both of them on the controller to keep it pointing in the right direction there. But Warden, he's got a bit of grass on his tyres once more here, and he seems to try and engine brake that Ferrari a little bit more than Ryan tries to do. Ryan, into the pits he goes. That must be as early as possible if he's going on to the set of the Ultras. Surely that is as early as he possibly can there, unless he's... No, he is going on the ultra soft tyres there. So, yeah, I think he's going to try and play on Warden's little mistake there. That'll obviously put Master Berserk up into P2, and where is Ryan going to come out? I think he should come out comfortably in P3. HO down in towards the final couple of corners here. He'll be obviously pitting very, very soon there. But yeah, Ryan is, he's out nice and clear. He's got a lot of track space ahead of him there. He's, well, got about a 5-second gap to the car behind, but that really doesn't matter because he is now on that fresh compound. The quickest tire compound as well. Can he make this undercut work? We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure, well, Warden will have to come in over these next couple of laps, surely. He can't afford to leave Ryan out there just going quicker than him over these next few laps.
I think Ryan's caught Warden there on that one. I think he'll easily get the undercut. It's just a question on whether these ultra soft tyres will make it home from here. So if you're Ferrari and Warden, you should pit at the end of this lap, but he might want to stay out an extra couple of laps and have, you know, an extra couple of laps of fresher tyres in which to attack later on in the race with. We have to wait and see what Warden does as he comes around the penultimate corner, and he does pit. So he responds straight away to the Mercedes team. And it's going to have to be a perfect Ferrari pit stop and a perfect in-lap from Warden if he's to jump and get out ahead of his former teammate.
Yeah, one
Ryan's
thing we actually did miss out on. Oh, sorry about that.
Ryan's just come around the last corner now. Sorry, Matt. And I think Ryan is going to come out in the lead of the Grand Prix. There you have it. The lead change for New Zealand Ryan, and he takes control of this race with a little bit of a run right into the first corner, but he leads his race by 2 seconds to a hefty undercut there for Mercedes.
Yeah, he certainly made that one work, and I was just about to say we actually missed out on Warden has got 9 seconds of penalties, not 6 in this Grand Prix there, so he's got even more penalties than we even realised. I'm not too sure. We'll have to have a look at Master Berserk, because maybe he can find himself under pressure by him towards the end of this race. Yeah, Master Berserk has 1 warning here, so if he can stay within 9 seconds of his teammate, he can potentially take P2 from completely under his nose there, which I'm sure Warden wouldn't be too happy with him. Yeah, Ryan, fantastic on that outlap there, not a single mistake, maximum attack on that fresh compound there, and well, he's made it work to the absolute fullest there, and a fantastic job by him. Reclaims the lead of this Australian Grand Prix here, and you know, well, now he's got a 2-second gap to Warden, but I'm sure, you know, he'll come back fighting. I don't think, you know, he may not be able to win this race on penalties alone, but I'm sure he'd love to win it on track nonetheless.
Yeah, I think Ryan would obviously prefer to win out in a straight fight and not, you know, have any anomalies in the way, but that being said, Warden is only costing himself by running wide and picking up track limit warnings as Ryan sets the fastest lap of the race. But Warden was actually faster in the final 2 sectors on Ryan, so maybe this race isn't over yet.
Oh, just H.O. has come out just in front of Master Berserk here in this Grand Prix, so I'm sure we could see a little bit of a battle between these two. Oh, he broke so late into that corner there, and I wonder if H.O., I think he's going to hold him up here, but we got Mercedes, Red Bull and Ferrari at the top of this Grand Prix here, so, well, some things transfer, many things from the... Oh, that's not gone well there. I'm not too sure if that was a bit of lag there, but H.O. and Master Berserk, there a huge miscommunication there. Master Berserk, well, I think he did actually go on the grass there. That almost could have been, well, it could have been another 2 drivers out of this Grand Prix if it had gone that badly there. But Neon Trido over to P5 as well. Heavy, yeah, that was a heart in mouth moment, I think, for the Ferrari driver.
Yeah, that even got my heart racing a little bit. That action. But Warden has closed right up to the back of Ryan. He's in DRS range. And can he apply enough pressure on the Mercedes to force a pass and build a margin that he needs to get away from Ryan with his penalties? He's got a great run out of turn 1 here, and Ryan is covering the inside line. Does Warden look for a move? He does. He goes around the outside, but he can't make it stick, and Ryan just holds on.
Yeah, that Warden broke impossibly late there in towards turn 3 there. I was going to say, if he managed to make that stick around the outside, that was going to be, well, move of the... Oh, another 3-second time penalty there. Well, that's not ideal.
Oh, dear.
So, Master Berserk 12 seconds behind him, and, well, he's got 12 seconds of penalties. Oh, that's a bit of... Is that rage from your end? The controller across the floor? I'm not too sure about that one. Are you angry
no,
for him?
Sorry. No, it was... Sorry about that. It was just a plate falling off the table, I think that was.
Clearly got a Warden fan in the other side of the commentary box there. But yeah, it's still not over though. On track, Ryan makes a little bit of a mistake in towards the third last corner there, so he certainly could still. Well, Warden down the inside, taking the last corner, just the room not there. Ryan, fair play to him. He does leave the door open where it was really questionable whether he should have there. It seemed like a little bit of a late lunge by Warden, but yeah, as we said, I don't think he's going to win this race on track. He might be able to win this race on track, but penalties is certainly going to mean he's not going to be able to do it on the whole there. And I think, well, if he fights with Ryan too much, then Master Berserk could get P2 here as well. So that certainly would not be ideal for him. We spoke about obviously Ferrari able to really mount a championship challenge to Mercedes. They could bring home 33 points from this Grand Prix. Mercedes, if Ben could jump Poms for the win here, but they would both bring home 33 points from this Grand Prix. But still 7 laps to go of this race here, and it's still all to play for here. We'll go on board with Ben, I think, for a little bit here.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if
he's all over the back of Poms.
Yeah, we've got 2 little battles to get on board with, both Mercedes in a bit of a fight, I think. Poms going defensive into T1 there, a little bit of contact made between the pair of them there, and Alex will hold on for now in that little battle. Yeah, this is certainly close. Warden and Ryan are still very, very close together. They're less than a tenth to separate the pair of them. Ryan defensive down in towards the final section, just squeezes Warden out wide there. Means Warden cannot get close enough there, and Master Berserk is taking a second of the lap out of these two at this stage of this race. Obviously not enough to really be able to get if he was able to take a second lap out of them between now and the end of the Grand Prix, he might be able to get close, obviously with both of them having penalties. Where's Ben?
Ben around the outside.
Ben and Poms, he makes it work.
Ben up into 6th place, so that's probably the best he can hope for. 25 seconds behind Neon, but Warden's got to run here. He's close. This is the closest he's been for a while, but he doesn't have the engine mode turned up, interestingly, and his fuel has come right down. So interestingly, and actually Ryan's got less fuel than Warden to play with, so fuel strategy could also play a part. But at the moment, as it stands, Master Berserk is in 2nd place with Warden's penalties. 4 penalties, 12 seconds. Master Berserk's only 10 seconds behind him. So at the moment for Warden, he's going to be losing the spot.
But on the other hand, what we've got to remember is Ryan. We're sort of talking a little bit unrealistic here, but if Master Berserk can continue to bring that gap down by as much as he is, and if Ryan and Warden have a few more battles here as they are still incredibly close. Warden, is he going to have a look down the inside? No, he doesn't. He thinks better of it just there. But Master Berserk, obviously, if he gets within 3 seconds of Ryan, a little bit optimistic with 6 laps to go of this Grand Prix. I don't think he's got a penalty still. He could even... Can you imagine if he was able to claim the race victory out of all of this? What an incredible one that would be. 1 warning still for that Ferrari driver. Ryan has got just 1 penalty. So, yeah, that would be pretty crazy.
Yep, here we go. Warden's got to run here. Does he use Rich this time? He does. Ryan covers as Warden goes for a switchback. Does he try and outbrake him around the outside here? He can't do either. Ryan is somehow hanging on here, but it's only bringing Master Berserk closer. It's now down to 9.9 seconds. And at the rate Berserk's catching, he only needs another 6 seconds to claim the victory off Ryan.
Yeah, the rate this is going, I think he's well. If he keeps closing at the rate he is, it's going to be. I reckon he'll be about a second off by the end of the Grand Prix. But really, for Warden here, he wants to fight against Ryan for the on track. The on track has such race victory. B, if obviously he can make this work and he can hold up Ryan enough for Master Berserk, I think it's looking a little bit less likely he's going to be able to get close enough there. I think he made a bit of a mistake in towards the far chicane there, but if somehow he's able to hold him up that much, he could effectively lose Ryan out on 7 points as well, and keep himself a bit closer to Ryan after the first couple of rounds, the first round of this championship there. So all the mind games coming into play at this stage of the day there, and Ryan is still holding on as Master Berserk. Yes, certainly. Oh, that's a mistake through the final couple of corners there. I think we're getting a little bit optimistic if he was going to be able to close that up enough, but Ryan, a mistake through T1. Warden to the outside once more there. Ben picks up another 3-second time penalty in the background here. Is Warren going to be able to make it work? No, he cannot for now. Is he going to try and have a look around the outside once more there? They're really, really fighting so much here, side by side, through Sector 1 there. He just backs out of it. Incredibly close between the pair of them there. And that, well, that was certainly heart and mouth once more there. This battle has raged on all race long here. Unfortunately, penalties really are going to play a huge role in it overall, but this is just, what a season opener. Fair play to the pair of them here. Warden, you know, he could have easily just taken P2 in this Grand Prix there, but he's fighting as much as possible as Poms for the win. And Jetson, I think, have made a mistake there. Poms dives into the pits, even though he's, I don't know, has he got a puncture? No, he's absolutely fine. But to mind, he's got no front wing damage either.
HO and Neon side by side, and Neon on the super soft tyre. No, on a soft tyre? Yeah, it's super soft to me on the car, but it's soft tyres. Goes up into 4th place, and HO with the front wing damage, never replaced in the pit stop, loses that spot. But let's see Warden again. And we end lap 25, and it'll be 4 laps to go. Can he make a move and get at least the on-track victory? For him, he'll be happy if he gets the on-track victory. Big slide there from Ryan in turn 1. That's going to invite Warden. But again, he's in the position he's been the last couple of laps, around the outside, and Ryan just holds on.
Yeah, he's positioning that car fantastically there. No idea how he was able to save that slide through turn 1. I don't think I could do that on a wheel, let alone on a controller. That was fantastically done by him. Just got the car pointing in exactly the right direction once more there. And obviously in a Formula 1 car with, what, 800, 900 horsepower. That is mighty impressive to be able to keep that pointing in the right direction there. But yeah, this battle, 3 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Chat, who is going to win this one on the track here? This has been fantastic so far, and well, we could run 100% racing, and I'm sure this battle would rage on there. Warden, a tiny mistake through the chicane once more there, but this is just exactly what you want to see. For those of you that obviously only really ever watch AOR, you know, normal split 1 in Europe, you know, the racing is absolutely fantastic everywhere else, as you can see by today's racing. Oh, Ryan makes another little mistake in towards the final corner. Warden is going to be able to try and get a much better run on the exit. What is he going to be able to do here? I think, is that a little bit of a mistake? What was that?
I'm not sure what that was. Did he go down a gear for you? I think he...
Yeah, I heard something in the background. I wasn't really looking at the gears. I think, yeah, he might have made a little bit of a mistake there. Clicked the wrong button. Oh, very close to the back of Ryan there. That could have very easily been front wing damage. Oh, Ryan on the grass as well there. These two just... If this is what this whole season is going to be like, this is going to be one incredible season. I would highly, obviously, for the rest of this championship, if this race doesn't warrant a subscription to the AOR YouTube channel, I don't know what does. Obviously, if you aren't already here, but this is fantastic between the pair of them at this stage of the group. Well, we keep saying it all race long. It's been such a great battle here, and what more could you ask for the opening round of the season? What a way to get, well, hyped, well and truly, for this championship there. Ryan makes a little bit of a mistake. Warden, he's going to give him the squeeze there. Right, just about realises he's down the inside there. That was so close. A bit of contact made between the pair of them.
There.
Oh, side by side. Still, Warden will have the inside. He backs out of it. Oh, no, that's not gone well. Ryan gave him a squeeze into the third last corner there. And well, I'm not too sure if Ryan didn't see him on the inside there, but that was certainly a little bit too close for comfort. And Warden has lost out just a little bit there with 2 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Surely that's going to mean he's more fired up than ever at this late stage of the day.
Ryan's tyres look gone, and he's letting him through. He's letting him through, and maybe he felt like he made a mistake. And I think Ryan knows Warden's situation with penalties, so no point fighting too hard, I guess.
Yeah, I think Ryan sort of understood, you know, he probably pushed it a little bit too much there. Warden was going to be able to make the move into that third last corner, and albeit, you know, you said earlier on, these two have been teammates in pretty much every other series they do together. They clearly have just so much respect for each other. They know exactly how each other drive by this point. You know, they're constantly, everywhere you look, you know, in Oceania leagues, they are all over each other in these races. excuse me, they're fantastic to see for the pair of them. Warden makes a bit of a mistake actually out of the chicane then. Yeah, I think Ryan, especially obviously with Warden's extra penalties there, understands, maybe that was a little bit too far. I don't think, I think for the pair of them as well, they want to make sure the race and respect is kept absolutely fair and clean between the pair of them there. And I don't know if obviously something was said in the party as well, but yeah, fantastic from Ryan. He understood he probably wasn't going to be able to keep hold of the position there without doing that, so I think fair enough as Warden is doing a little bit of a weave up towards the line. Final lap then of this Grand Prix, and obviously Greek, I'll let you talk through this one, because what a race we have had.
Yeah, it's been incredible. The start, obviously these two got away very well indeed, and ever since the first lap they've held a comfortable margin over the rest of the field. Obviously Master Berserk has reduced the margin to 6 seconds, but it's a little bit too late, I think, to mount a charge on Ryan. So he should, if he doesn't make any mistakes or doesn't have any tyre issues, win this race. But Team of Markin involved in the incident with Jared and Jetson on the first lap obviously didn't help their chances of fighting out. And obviously we know their pace, and they definitely would have been up there fighting with these two drivers. But it's a bit like real life. Warden being Vettel and Ryan being Hamilton at this stage. And fingers crossed we can get this battle going for the whole season. But as we have the last couple of corners to go, it'll be Warden winning on track, but of course Ryan will win the race with the penalties that Warden has. As Warden weaves the way across the line, he crosses the line first, but it's Ryan who wins the race with penalties. Master Berserk comes home third on track, second on penalties, and Neon Trito, a great drive from him in the Force India, will take fourth place ahead of HO. Been a long way back, but fights back to P6. Jetson should be 7th. Drop Bear, Jared and Poms, after getting involved in a little bit of action early in the race, will take the final points paying position in 10th, and the final position in the race since 11th Death and 12th Funk Guru and 13th Brock have all retired from the race. But the Australian Grand Prix goes to New Zealand Ryan in the Mercedes.
You're just watching, I think we've got Jetson coming down towards the line now, will be coming through for P7. Drop Bear down in P8, and Jared, well, he never really sort of recovered off that start, pretty much a minute behind the top guys throughout that entirety of that race. And Alex will come through the final corner to take on one solid point from the opening round of the season now. Fantastic job by all the drivers, obviously, to make it right through to the end of that Grand Prix. And apart from obviously the battle at the top, it was a bit quieter down the rest of the field, but I think we certainly saw the battle where we wanted to during the entirety of that Grand Prix.
Yeah, I'd love to see battles for the lead every week. I mean, obviously we want to see battles everywhere, but if you had to pick one area where you'd like to see battles, it's obviously for the lead of the race. So Ryan picks up yet another victory in this league. And we said it's the home Grand Prix for most drivers, except for Ryan and Neon, and it happened to be Ryan, one of only two non-Australians winning this race. But Ferrari, a double podium for them, and Timo Mark, 6th place. What could have been for him? Good job to Master Berserk, only driver without a penalty there, and 10 finishes. So hopefully we'll get more drivers finishing next week or turning up next week to race. But Matt, what were your thoughts on the race?
Well, Mercedes and Ferrari will actually leave the first round of the season tied in the constructors there after that one, both on 33 points. But yeah, that was an absolutely incredible race. Obviously, GG to Ryan at the end of the day was just able to keep it that bit cleaner in terms of the track limits than Warden. So I think Warden knows exactly, when we go into round 2 next week, exactly what he'll need to do to really obviously be able to take the fight to Ryan in terms of obviously the whole race on the whole there. But yeah, that one, certainly one I think we can look back on and rewatch over and over throughout the entirety of the season. One that will be talked about for a long time.
Yes, indeed it will. And that wraps up our coverage of the opening round of the AOR Hype Energy Oceania F1 League on Xbox One, powered by Elgato. I'm Greg Mars 99. Matt, thanks for commentating. Harry, thanks for doing the stream. And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You are next to me in this boat we made, sailing across the waves. When we reach the sea, don't give up on me. We still have a day to make our getaway. Living on the edge is the way to go. We'll drift off with the wind behind us. If you're feeling scared, I can be your rope. You and keep you safe and warm. So please don't leave, baby, don't lose hope. Put your mind